Welcome to the Fret Friends Podcast, a guitar and music podcast here to instruct, inform, and showcase. Fret Friends is a podcast from AP Guitar, a music tuition business established in 2012, which provide lessons, workshops, and courses to students all over the world. So here's your host, Adam Picard.
It's a really weird song, but no one does that
Verse bit.
I found an isolated recording on YouTube.
Yeah.
And listening to Hendrix, just his guitar, is really eerie. Do
you remember which song was it where we... The intro, the intro is reversed, and then we... that's it. That's that. So we then recorded it, and then we reversed it to see if we could make it sound like it.
Make it sound like, and it never sounded quite right.
Yeah,
it sounded close because the notes were the same.
Yeah,
but it was like
in the same key, and it had the same vibe to it, though, didn't it?
It was like because of the timings.
Yeah,
the way Hendrix played the time, like the way he would play notes and things like that. The timings were always a little bit different, and because we went through. And I learned how to do it, play the notes forward and then play the notes backwards. I never learned how to play the notes in time backwards.
What do you think when you say about his timing being a little different? What do you mean?
Like the way he would embellish things, like he would always do that. He would always do things like that, but he would add like a high, like a open note.
It's different, isn't it?
He would kind of alternate, and it would sound like he's going like that. Or like he kind of roll things and like do these weird little things, which sounded like he was doing one bit really quick and then one bit kind of slow, and kind of alternate between that.
Do you think he was doing that on purpose then? So for a contrast, so fast and slow, and
I don't know. I just think that's how he played.
Because it was just his style. It was him, wasn't it?
Like you hear like the distinct solos, like Purple Haze, like the. And there's always that little quick. Like there was always just that little hint of speeding up and then slowing down again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of jolty sounding, isn't it?
It sounds like
probably
kind of skipping almost.
Yeah.
Like even like a Red House. Even the way he's.
So it's the timing, isn't it? It's the quick jolty timing, whether it's open string or whether it's within chords or whether it's soloing. It's the.
Yeah, I mean the like. He was slowing it down, but there's always just a little bit that kind of articulates it.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that with a lot of people. Like, Albert Collins was always quite snappy with his.
Snappy.
He was always really snappy and really quick with it, but he was never like actively thinking about it. Like the only time where I can actually hear him thinking about it, or
working it out in real time.
Is when he's doing when he's actually slowing down or doing something kind of step by step, and then when he kind of goes back to what he knows, it's always really quick. Then
it's back into his comfort zone. And
like I'm trying to think of players who naturally play slow, and there's like one or two, being Albert King. Like,
do you mean they style it out?
They style
out playing slow.
It's not slow, but kind of smooth.
Well thought out notes, well thought out phrases.
I think so. I mean, Albert, he was the king of three notes because he was always playing the.
There's the bend.
Like, there's always like, he's always really slow with his choices. The other one's Jimmy Vaughan. Right.
And he's so precise as well, isn't he?
Yeah. There's never a point where he's missing something on purpose. There's like when he chooses to play a certain way, you'll hear it. But yeah, I think the slowing down, the speeding up, all that. With Jimmy, that kind of opened my eyes to it when I listened to that without any backing to it. Because when you listen to the recording.
So you're talking about solo, hearing his isolated tracks again?
Isolated tracks, specifically on like Jimmy recordings, because you can hear how he's doing certain things, and with that song, you can hear how much the track is filled with like random sounds, like random rhythm patterns and things like that. It's
in the other instruments you're saying.
Other instruments, different sound effects, things like that.
Does he ever multi-track his guitar on his recordings, or is it just? Do you think it's one take the whole way through, one guitar?
I don't know, because I know he does like listening to Castles Made of Sand and things like that. You can kind of hear an overdub kind of sound to it because of the reverse guitar part. It must have been cut into different pieces, or but I think a lot of it was kind of live until he needed something different.
Yeah, and then it would be sort of overdubbed or fixed.
Yeah, I don't really know much about how he recorded things, but like listening to the actual playing of it was the really interesting part.
Yeah, that's right. We should look into that, shouldn't we? Anyway, I want to talk more about you. This is all interesting, and this is all interesting for people to hear, but I admire you. I really, really do. And it's really nice to have you here in a different sense. We can chat.
Yeah.
We can chat. And I think people would want to know, right now, one word that sums up your life.
Loud. And there's two. There's loud or busy.
I said one.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide between the two.
It's loud and busy can be the same thing. You can be loud and busy in your head, and you can be loud and busy outside as well, can't you? But okay, brilliant. So what have you been up to? You've obviously spent the end of last year in the States. What have you been up to over there?
So I've been learning how being a musician is like out there, kind of playing and writing some things with some friends, being my friend Nico, and kind of learning what it's like to be part of his band and things like that, to understand it more. That's been a lot of fun.
What because you're saying like what the opportunities are like for a musician out there. What's the difference over there and to here?
You can play every single day and earn a living if you wanted to. Over there? Yeah, that, like, just from looking at it, like from learning about it, you like watching people perform. Like, there's people have the residencies and things like that, and they can go out and perform. And
why do you think that's? We're talking about blues, of course. Why do you think that's not the case? Is it because they made blues?
I think there's more space out there. And obviously the other thing is that's where it came from.
But actually the first point you make there is probably more practical, isn't it? It's probably...
There's more space, so then the neighbours don't complain so much. I mean, one of the venues that I got to play at, they do 11 till 2 as their final slot, which is 11 o'clock at night till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's their final slot. That's when they close. But they open at 11 o'clock, on like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
In the morning?
In the morning.
All right, so their staff active. Don't get a lot of time off, basically. No, but that's mad, isn't it? It's a real... it's just so different from here. I think it's pretty unheard of to have any venue or like sort of licensing law or just... I suppose it depends, like council to council, borough to borough, but you're not going to get any live music after a certain time, or it's not
usually it's 11 that they like at the most they'll stop at 11. But I mean, it's quite crowded here, naturally, because it's a small country.
Yeah.
So kind of putting that comparison, and then I mean, to put it in comparison, Texas specifically. If you put Texas on a map, like if you put like a cookie cutter shape of Texas over Europe, you could get from Paris to Rome and still be within that cookie cutter.
It's almost unbelievable, isn't it?
And that kind of helps with thinking about it. Is like you've got 12 hours both from east to west and 12 hours from north to south of room in Texas. So that gives you a lot of space to go and find music and play music.
Yeah, and a lot, like we're saying, a lot of space to make sound and not annoy neighbours as much, right?
Yeah, there's
me and my dad went to see Jeff Beck at the Chelsea Pensioners Ground, and that borough has a really early curfew, like in general, like all the bars and everything. So that ended at about 9 or 9:30, which I was alright with. But it's not rock and roll, is it?
No, I mean,
you know,
I think it's convenient for a lot of people. So I think, which is really useful. I think the 11 till 2 thing is quite extreme. It's a lot of fun, and to try and do that for an extended period of time, you slowly get used to it.
So how many days a week, or how often were you doing that then?
Oh, that like at its busiest, there wasn't a day off. There wasn't a day off to go and see other things. It was a lot of learning and kind of understanding it. So it was like 3 gig days, and that's 3 hours each. So that's 9 hours of playing without, like, it's like pack up, get ready, pack up, get ready.
How do you feel physically? How are your, just even down to your fingertips? That's a lot, isn't it?
You adapt to it.
You do?
It's like, the other thing is you build more kind of strength.
Yeah. Did you change your strings to sevens and not
not sevens. I always kept a packet of 11s.
Ooh.
Just in case, or like,
it's sensible. And I mean, 11s is not exactly light, is it, Rhys?
No, but that's that's as far as I can go without, like, I get paper cuts when it gets too light. or like, and also I break them too quickly. So I mean, having to drop down that much, I was kind of surprised because I hadn't done that in a long time.
Yeah.
But I was quite quick to adapt.
Much performing and everything is brilliant, isn't it? It's like you cannot beat it in terms of experience. And I suppose some people watching this will know that you guys released music as well. So you were obviously recording.
Yeah, that was another interesting experience to like go into a studio and record. Specifically with that one, because I've been using like rental things to try like to play and things like that.
Yeah, amps you mean?
Yeah, amps.
Yeah.
And to like try out those sounds in a studio space where I can actually like test the limits of it was really interesting.
So you mean turn it up?
Yeah.
Loud, get the most out of the valves and hear the amp how it should be.
Yeah, that was the really interesting thing, and there was like some really cool studio experiences we did. The song that was released was recorded in a place called 601 in Austin, and that was a lot of fun, and those guys are great.
So how long did you record that all in one day, and did you do that live, or did you...
The guitars, I think it was...
Did you do it all live in the same room, or was it drums first, then bass, and then guitar? Bit of both?
It was kind of... It started off with like a scratch take. So it started off with the drums, but the guitars were in an isolated space.
Gotcha.
So you only heard the drums, and then it was picked up with... Then the next bit was the guitars, and then...
redoing
guitars over it.
So,
which was quite interesting. The first experience I did for a song called Unbothered, which was the first one, that was already almost done, and I was lucky enough to be put on that song, and it was just doing an extra guitar part.
Yeah.
And then the second one, Too Young for the Blues, was a completely new... That was all...
Completely new. Started whilst you were there.
Started while I was there. So that song had already been written, but it was just about recording it.
Yeah.
And going through that and like trying out different amps for different things. So 601 have their own amps there. And it didn't sound quite what they sounded great, but it didn't do the right job for that thing.
Yeah.
So like using the rental amp that I was using.
That's what you ended up using in the end?
Yeah.
The one that you rented yourself when you got to the States?
Yeah.
Brought that along. Okay. Which one made it then? Which one was it?
The rental?
Yeah.
It was a Fender Twin.
Do you remember what they had at the studio that didn't make the cut?
They had a Vox.
Okay.
Which was a really great Vox amp. It was an AC-15. It sounded great, but it wasn't quite the right sound for the song.
Yeah.
And then they had like a Fender Princeton style amplifier with a 1x12 cabinet. Wow. And that sounded really good.
Yeah.
But it had this kind of boxy thing to it, which was great, but it didn't really fit the... Again,
it's not about the amp, is it?
It's not about...
It's about what's going to suit the song and the band. And
I really like the sound of both of those amps, I did use that Princeton-style amp on Unbothered. But the sound that I was looking for was this big kind of live, pushed Fender sound, kind of more Freddie King, kind of aggressive, yet still quite clean.
So I'm sure we're gonna hear more about your trip and more about what you've been doing. But we are in 2026 right now. So again, some people watching, most people will probably know who you are, but some people may not. So if we take you back to 2020 when you first picked up a guitar, do you want to basically take us back to the beginning? How did you get into guitar? What prompted you to start playing the guitar? Do you remember?
It's funny because it feels like a mixture of yesterday and
Really?
ages ago.
Oh,
So I kind of remember it, and then there are bits that I don't really remember. I remember I was like it. I remember I was having a hard time, and I heard Green Day, and I was like, oh, that's a lot of fun. I wonder what it's like to try and make that sound.
yeah.
And that's kind of where the idea of playing started. And that was who I was listening to. Was
it the music or the lyrics?
The music.
The music.
It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The way the energy kind of bounced off, the way the sound was specifically, it just...
Yeah.
It was an enjoyable guitar sound. And the way the melodies were and things like that, it was just a lot of fun.
It's everything together.
Yeah.
It's the Green Day package.
So that was who I was listening to for a good while.
How old were you?
12.
12.
So that was 2020, and that's when I came to you, and then it slowly went into the GNR, like the Guns N' Roses and the Slash things.
Yep, that was phase 2.
Yeah. And then you showed me, you said, oh, you've got to listen to Stevie. And it was really funny because I remember I listened to a couple songs and I really enjoyed his music, but I didn't hear the extent of what he could do.
No.
Off of I think you showed me Scuttlebutton and
I
Pride and Joy.
And Lenny, I think. I tried to make fast, slow, and then sort of like single material in the middle.
So I remember you showing me that. I was like, oh, he's great, but I didn't hear the depth of how great he was.
Yeah.
So I kind of moved on for a couple of weeks, and during that time I wanted to go out and try a guitar. And I went on their website, and I saw this guitar, and it was an LP, like a Les Paul guitar, and I was like, oh, I want to try that. And I looked on their website, and right above it, I just saw this guitar, and I was like, what's SRU? SRU. And I was like, what is that? So I looked at it, I was like, oh, I want to try that.
It's a car.
And when I got to the guitar shop, it turns out it wasn't the best experience. Just kind of shop it was. So I got to try the Les Paul. And
which town was it in?
No. I'd rather not say.
No naming or shaming.
No. So the stuff there are great, but there are a couple things here and there that didn't. They didn't. It didn't work out, and then I moved on. And I was still thinking about that guitar about a week later. I was like, what is that guitar? Because it looked really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's sunburst with this gold thing on it. Like I was really confused by it. And that week later, I saw that it was like a top 10 clip of Stevie performing. So it was like top 10 best guitar players.
Oh yeah.
And at number 5 was Stevie, and it was Voodoo Child, and it was the Us and City Limits performance. So he was wearing that black shirt with the kind of cactus print on it.
Oh mate.
And that was where I really saw kind of the extent of what he could do. And then the next clip was Texas Flood live at the El Macambo that they were showing.
All of him, number 5.
All of him. So it was just for number 5. It was like 2 clips they showed, and then it went on to the next guitar player, who I think was Clapton at number 4.
Mate, this is just at the end of this. Just tell me who number 1 was.
No.
God, keep the suspense. Keep the suspense.
I'm trying to remember. It was Eddie Van Halen at number 3.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page at number 2, and then it was Hendrix at number 1.
Okay, it's always
the same 3.
Yeah.
And it's either the same 4 or the same 3.
Yeah.
But like seeing those 2 clips of Stevie, I saw this kind of mythical kind of being to it, where it was like Voodoo Child, where he was at the best at his best performance-wise, in my opinion. And then it was Texas Flood, just as he's putting the guitar behind his back. And I was like, how is he doing that? And that's when I went straight back here and said I wanted to learn Texas Flood. I was just confused by how he could do something like that.
Yeah. I think his music speaks to a lot of people, most people, but I think when you watch the videos of him as well, it's something else, isn't it?
There's no hiding the fact that I'm a super fan.
Are you?
No.
Are you?
But there's no hiding that. But I mean, I've saved tons of like video performances that were taken from the crowd.
Yeah. And
it goes like over multiple years, and the way he could perform and play was just incredible. Even at his hardest moments, he was still a great guitar player, like still an incredible guitar player.
So it was Green Day, it was Guns N' Roses slash
yeah,
and then SRV, and then
it's kind of, but like I've stuck with his. I've stuck with his music, but also the music he listened to.
Yeah, I think that's stage 4, isn't it?
That's the thing I've stuck with the most, was listening to B.B. King, Freddie King, Albert Collins.
You've gone way... I'm going to take over now. You've gone way further than that in terms of depth into blues. Like, knowledge beyond anyone. You have really... I'm sure you'll be modest and say there's stuff you don't know, but I mean, you've gone way further than that, haven't you?
I've tried to learn as much as I could find. Like specifically at the moment, Freddie King's one of my favorites, and like trying to find out who his favorite guitar player was. Going on with that, and you hear like he's from Texas. He grew up but his family moved to Chicago when he was younger, so he got to hear a lot of different players. So he grew up listening to the Jimmy Reeds, the T-Bone Walkers, people like that, while he was in Texas, and his family moved to Chicago, and that's when he heard Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters. So you can kind of hear that mixture come in, and like people that like that kind of expand more knowledge. So you hear Jimmy Reed, and that's when you hear the first. Like that's the first time you'll hear that, like distinct.
Yeah.
And not to sound like I'm not a fan of Jimmy Reed. I'm a massive fan of Jimmy Reed, but most of his songs start with. I think a lot like Chuck Berry. A lot of his stuff is the same riff.
It's even like some of the Delta blues stuff. It sort of has they have the same intros, and then
it's when you hear like their career change, and you start to hear different things, and then they kind of jump back to it in the middle of the song, and that's when you hear how they knew what they were great. You knew what they were great at, and they knew what they were great at. So they stuck with that, and moved forward with it, and tried to add a couple little things to it. And that's one of the coolest things about those types of artists.
I think so. These like, I was going to ask you a question about who your current influences were, and I think now I don't even know if that's an answerable question, is it? Because I'll tell you why. Because you could say someone like SRV or Hendrix, but then you know that they were influenced by other people. So are you influenced by those people that they were? So maybe we don't think about the question too much. But does anyone pop out to you, your current influences?
I mean, the two that come to mind quite quickly are Rory Gallagher. And he's kind of interested me quite a bit because it's that same kind of energy that Stevie had.
Yeah.
But he put it in such a different way. He used a lot more kind of hill country, blues in his acoustic playing, but he also had a lot of energy with the slide. Like he picked up a lot of stuff and put that same kind of force into it and just put it in a different area, which really interested me with his kind of his power. And there was a lot of his, you could hear a lot of his, where he came from with that.
Yeah.
Like the Irish kind of elements to it in his playing. You could hear the kind of jump in the sound. Like there was a lot of like in notes wise, you could or that kind of like there was a lot of kind of a jump to it, notes wise, which kind of interested me. And the other one is Dora Bramhall, the second. So there's who's another one part of the Texas scene, but he was part of a band called the Archangels, which was members of Double Trouble after Stevie had passed, who joined with other members of the Texas circuit. So there's Dora Bramhall, Chu, and Charlie Sexton, and they created this really interesting kind of Hendrix influenced like blues rock band with some soul elements.
Okay.
But he's a really interesting guitar player. Yeah. Like the way he plays, he's left-handed, but he plays as if you just handed him a right-handed guitar. So the low strings are on the bottom. Oh no! And the high strings are on the top. So he's an Albert King or Otis Rush kind of guitar player. And the way he plays is so interesting because you can hear a lot of his influences, but because of how he's learned to play the instrument, a lot of it sounds backwards. So you can kind of hear where he sticks to things, and it's interesting because of one, he's a great songwriter and a great singer, but he's also an interesting musician when it comes to notes,
phrasing and everything else.
Because you don't know where he's going to go because of how he's strung his instrument.
It's odd, isn't it? And sometimes I wonder if you do something a little bit different, you're going to get different inspiration, aren't you? Much like when you get a new pedal or a new guitar, you might play something different. But if you're playing upside down, things are going to feel different. What might feel intuitive to a right-handed player and a left-handed player, you'll play things. It's very hard to explain, but it's. Yeah,
I mean, he's heavily influenced by Hendrix and people like that, but when you kind of listen closer and put your ear up to the music more, you can hear a lot of kind of John Lee Hooker and Lead Belly and people like that in his playing when it comes to the more softer things. And the I mean, again, it's back to the phrasing. His way with writing songs to the phrasing, like he's like the way he writes songs is he's not like a traditional like blues songwriter. Like he doesn't often do kind of that 3-chord thing,
12-bar blues,
12-bar. Like he doesn't often do that. But when he does, he usually uses something quite unique to it. So there's some really interesting kind of melodies that he makes just within how he plays.
I need to have a listen to him.
I'll show you some stuff because he's really he's fascinating when you watch him play as well because everything's backwards. It's really weird because he's upside down, left-handed, and
it's
naturally backwards, if that makes sense.
It's always odd watching players play like that.
Eric Gales, I don't understand.
Yeah, I think I've seen some like tutorial stuff from him as well with the tab on the screen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get my head around that.
He'll do that, but he's like, if he's starting with it like he usually does, it's like it's never it's
That's what I'm trying to say. It's playing something intuitively that you would, but on an instrument that's strung the other way, you're going to get different sounds. That's what I mean by that, exactly as you said. All right, I'm going to talk to you about something that's very hot at the moment, modelling amps. I'm very interested to know what your take is on modelling amps.
I think my personal preference is analog and like tube amps and things like that, because I just think they sound more natural. They sound more like the strings. Modeling amps, I've tried them, and they're just not right for me. I think it's hard to describe. I think people should, or like everyone at some point should have the experience of turning up like a Marshall or a Fender and like really experiencing the actual air of the speakers pushing out. Because there have been some like, guitar players who I've met, and I'll watch them play online, and you wouldn't expect them to be so surprised when you like show them like plug them into a loud Fender amp, because
this is a speaker.
It's not that, it's like when they're sat down and they're they've plugged into their like interface or whatever it is to make a cranked up Fender sound. They're making the sound of the room, making the sound of the speaker, making the sound of the amplifier. Where when you just show them the amplifier on its own and plug them into it, and go, right, this is what it sounds like on 2, and then go, oh, it's so dry. And then when you go, okay, so that's not how, like, they go, aren't you supposed to turn it up? And I go, yeah, when you turn it up, and they go, it's so loud. And it's so unexpected, because it's, a lot of players stay on 10. And when you kind of are messing with a loud Fender amplifier or a Marshall amplifier, Marshall are great for that because they're so responsive. But when you start messing with those, that's when you start to realize the little differences, where I think the modeling stuff, they're good for getting the room capturing Marshall low mid, high mid type sound, but they're not so great at capturing the feel of it. And that's where the difference comes in. So they're not my thing, but I can understand why those things are desired. I
think that's a very, very reasonable answer. I think that makes a lot of sense. They're not as responsive, and it's about signal as well. If you're turning your guitar down to 3 and you're going through an interface and then into this, it's not going to sound like plugging into a huge Marshall and then turning down to... It's not the same, is it? But I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious that for some people who want that, it works for them.
The one thing that's really useful with those things is how light they are. Yeah,
there are obviously convenience factors as well, but if it's done well, I see that there are updates and updates to try and get sounds of what some people just have anyway. It's like there could be 10 updates to get the sound of turning that on, but if they get it right, then
I think the thing that I have a problem with is if someone's willing to spend, like for example a plugin. I'm mainly thinking about those because I don't really know much about the modeling apps.
Yeah.
When I think about a plugin, I've tried a couple plugins before through friends and things like that, and when you're willing to spend something like £200 or $200 on a piece of equipment that in whether you realize it's 2 weeks or 2 years will be out of date, and you don't have any updates for it that will make it new or make it sound as good, not to sound rude, but you've kind of wasted that money.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound rude at all. It sounds fair again.
Because you don't want to, like, with that kind of equipment, you want it to sound great all the time.
Yeah.
And if things are updating so quickly, you kind of want them to update with it.
Yeah, I think that's a real issue I have with it as well. That there is a shelf life, and like I said, even if like you're getting something to start with, you may have 10 updates before it sounds like something that you could just go out and buy.
That's the other thing. They're trying to replicate the sound of something you could go. Like, people are like, oh, I'd love the sound of a twin. When you can go on Facebook Marketplace, yes, it will cost money to have it refurbished and things like that, but you could spend money and buy a Fender Twin on things like Facebook Marketplace, or buy it brand new, and you've got the sound of a twin right there. And if it's too loud, then there are ways of getting around that.
How would you get around that?
An attenuator. So
you could buy one for roughly...
You can get attenuators anywhere between like £60 and
so you
£2,000 if you wanted to
plug
go
that
crazy
into your amp, so you can crank the amp and get the actual full sound of the amp, but at a low volume, and that fixes that issue.
Yeah, most attenuators are using speaker cables. So you plug the speaker into the attenuator, and then the attenuator into the amplifier using a speaker cable, and that basically just adds an extra volume knob, which will keep the volume of the speaker down while keeping the volume of the amplifier up.
That's brilliant, isn't it? It really is.
I think the thing with modeling amps is you're trying to achieve the sound of something that you could, like the plugins and things like that. Here's a plugin for a Fender Twin or a Marshall like 50 watt. Oh, here is the sound of that, and then 2 weeks or 2 years will go by, and then it's like, you don't want that. You want this sound of the Fender Twin and the Marshall's 50 watt, and then that one becomes irrelevant, and then again 2 years later that will be irrelevant again. Meanwhile, there's that Fender Twin, the real one, on Facebook Marketplace, and you could buy that and it's still relevant, and it's been relevant for 50 years.
I think I'm getting it a bit more now. I think when you talk about the plug-in side of thing, it's buying something because it's not physical, it's then out of your control, isn't it? That's what it is.
That's where I find it troubling.
You buy something physical, okay, you can have issues with it and maintenance, whatever, but it is yours. It's there. No one can take it away from you. No one can stunt its continual playing. It's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where I find it quite an issue.
Rhys, there are lots of people watching this who are playing guitar, and beginners and intermediates and possibly advanced players as well. I think you would be really good to answer this question. Do you have any tips, or do you have the most important tip that you could give to an intermediate guitar player?
I think there's two I can think of. The first one is...
Two is good?
Jam. Go out and do a jam night.
So go to a pub near you or a bar near you that's putting on
a blues jam.
Blues jam.
If it says open mic, then it's a bit more tricky, because then you've got to have more things in place. Look out for a blues jam, because it gives you more chances to adapt to things.
What would you need to know in order to be able to turn up to a blues jam for the first time? Because I know you've done many all around. What would be the standard that you would need to be? What do you need to work towards to be able to get on to do that?
I mean, I think the first thing is make sure you know a 12 bar.
Okay. In any key?
In any key.
So just the movement?
Yeah. And then if someone's showing you a tricky song, or something like, oh, I want to play this song, make sure you know where the notes are. Like, if you know where A is in different keys, like... I mean, I'm in E flat, so A is here.
So knowing your way around the same note in many different places, right?
Yeah, knowing the same note in many different places. So if they say,
really good.
The song's in A, and then they all of a sudden play here, you kind of need to adjust to know where that is.
So, jam night, find one, know your 12-bar blues in order to be comfortable enough, know where the note, well, not all the notes are on the fretboard, but know how to get around finding the same note. Yeah,
it's not like knowing, like, trying to find different scales or different, like, oh, this is this part of this scale.
Yeah.
But knowing, like, if I can play an A here, I can play it here too, or there. I mean, this needs some setting up, but it's like knowing where things are to kind of get around things, and knowing how to play the same lick in different spots.
That's really good. That's one of the listening exercises that I do with other students as well. Is, okay, here's a lick, play it in 4 other places.
Yeah, it's the idea of like the or like
there you go. Yeah, so important, right?
Knowing where things are, because if you find yourself in a tricky place, if someone's playing a weird chord progression, you know where things are supposed to be, and if you don't know where that is, or specifically on the fretboard, if they're doing weird chords or things like that, and you know where things are on the neck, then that's where it comes a lot easier, and also where the different shapes and different scales come from. Really, really great points, because they're practical points. Really, because the other things are you like the idea of like mindset and things like that. That's very useful. But when you know things like that, it'll motivate you more to do things. I'm glad you told us those, because the mindset things are really, if you're learning anything, aren't they? Discipline, etc. And they're really good points to make. But what you've told us is very, very practical, because that's what you've done, and it's worked. No. Okay, right. Yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy this. I'm gonna give you some quick fire round questions to end off with. Okay, are you ready? I'm talking quick, and I'm talking one or the other. Okay. Okay. I'm giving you the rules of quick fire round like you don't know, but I know that you know, and I know that you're going to try and not do it. Okay, you ready? Fender or Gibson? Fender. SRV or Hendrix? Stevie. John Mayer or Justin Bieber? Skip. Les Paul or SG? SG. Ooh. 7 gauge or 9 gauge? 9. Marshall or Fender? Fender. There we go. I like Fenders, but no, I like Marshalls, but Fenders are just... I know, it's such cruel questions, but you... Which one did you skip? John Mayer. Oh, Justin Bieber? Yeah. Oh. You need someone to I thought that would be easy. I thing is, I don't, like... There's one I'm not interested in, and then there's one that I don't know anything about. Oh, I wonder which way around that could be. Like... I think that's an interesting question, though. Like, because they're two very popular, like, artists, pop stars. Yeah, pop stars. Like John Mayer, I know quite a bit about, because I've seen a lot of information being posted, but he's not my kind of thing. And then there's Justin Bieber, which I have no clue anything about. So you didn't get the new John Mayer plugin because A, that's John Mayer, and B, it's a plugin. There was 0% chance, wasn't there? And I found it very confusing. Like I've seen a lot of people talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Rhys. I genuinely appreciate it, and sharing your expertise and knowledge as
the growing musician and guitarist that you are, and I'm sure you always will be. So yep, good luck with everything, and I'm sure everyone who's watching will find your information very useful and very inspiring. So thank you so much, dude.